Hello there, welcome to today's Daily Dominion, which is guess it's Sunday, so it's all sets. Um, okay. There are a few notable, I think, noteworthy, and one thing to note is we have Orchard, scores 4 points per action you have 3 or more copies of, which is quite good here. Almost all the actions are gainable and pretty spammable, in fact. I'd say the only two that you're really sort of mad about having 3 copies of here are like rebuilding Goat Herd, and even that is like okay. Probably won't get 3 copies of rebuild, but Goat Herd could be quite good, especially if the bot is playing rebuild or bind Sook. So Goat Herd draws cards per card that your opponent trashed. So rebuild trashes cards, Sook trashes cards. So we could potentially get quite some draw out of it actually against the bot here. Sort of the main draw idea will probably be Hunting Lodge, which is a kind of a variant of a draw to X, but with a village. So you can play the Sooks and the villas out of your hand and discard your hand and draw 5 new cards. So that's going to be probably the core of the draw engine here. The main thing to worry about here is just whether the bot does rebuild in a quick and efficient way or not, because that can put some constraints on how long we have here, because we don't have an attack. But other than that issue, we should be okay, because in fact the Orchard will score really well here, and rebuild doesn't actually score that many points. So I think the opening, to me the clear, okay, so the opening is probably silver or like silver Goat Herd or like silver native village. It somewhat depends on how soon you think your opponent will be trashing. Gonna try the Goat Herd. Okay, so we hit 5 with our silver hand, which makes a huge difference here. And I think I'm willing to take, we don't really want a lot of treasure payload, but if you look at the number of 5s across the board here that are worth gaining, and even the 4s, to me War Chest looks pretty good at this stage. So we're going to take a War Chest. I do think eventually the AI is going to use Sook powers and or rebuild. So they take a rebuild there. Okay, we get War Chest. This is great. They've named Villa, of all things. So we'll gain a Sook so we can trash 2 cards. And then I'll buy a native village. Okay, so we get to see the Goat Herd power in action. We play the Goat Herd, draws a card because they trashed with rebuild. Okay, we're not doing much here, and then in fact they just sort of straight up hit Province, which is a little bit unlikely, but it's whatever. We're gonna play the Sook while we have this kind of low hand. Okay, we're gonna keep the hand, just mostly because we drew the War Chest. There are also some additional. We'll see if we get. We're doing okay. So I'm not sure how soon we'll see these tricks. Just because we're kind of already decently thin. We only have the 4 coppers left. But there are some villa tricks, and in fact we maybe could have employed one that turn, but let's see. Okay, so they've named good trash 1 copper here. Gonna want some markets soon. They're buying Duchy, which is reasonable for rebuild, though honestly, they should actually take a second rebuild. They don't have enough rebuilds for the rebuild. Like, they're just not going to go fast enough here. What did we set? Oh, we set the war chest aside. That's a little bit sad, but it's just how it goes sometimes. We'll just pick it up next turn. I guess we could trash the silver. I mean, at some point we want markets. Maybe the war chest is good enough to play with two of them here. Not sure. You certainly don't have to have it. Okay. One thing with the goat herd is the trashing on goat herd itself is optional. So like if they've trashed a card, then I can rotate it and it's fine. I would like to pick up, though I sort of don't want to pick up yet that much. Can maybe get it now. Trash the copper. Okay. There can be some better turns. Possibly. Trying to think. You can see where the point stuff is starting to. Actually, I probably want just one of each of these things. But you can see where the points thing is starting to already look like a non-issue here. This is a little scary because, like if the next card is, I'm going to discard hand because if the next card is a Sook, this is really bad. And this way is fine, so. I'm just going to play the native villages in Acropolis because I don't know what's down there, but I don't really want to set it aside in any case. Doing a lot of declining. All right. Well, this is all pretty good. We already have 3 of the 5 costs. We can buy. Ooh, I should do some. We'll do this next turn. I keep forgetting to. Well, it's not that good, but it's okay. Let's get seller. Adding more Sooks is actually a little bit difficult. Maybe if we have some villas, we'll just buy some villas. Why not? Otherwise, market is sort of like the most appealing of the I say that it Sukas obviously can produce like a lot more. Yeah, this is a hand where we maybe should have played the seller. But this is quite good, so. Here's what I will do it this time, I guess, just for the fun of it. Okay. What did they name? Oh, Villa, but that's fine. We'll just buy one. I'm gonna buy another Sook. I'm gonna buy Market, and then I'm gonna buy a Villa, and then we can do this fun thing where we draw some of the cards we just bought. In fact, we could do that again. So we might as well. I'm going to get rid of the cellar just out of my hand. We're going to try and do another little chain. Just for the joy of chaining, I guess. I'm going to put... So there's some ways this can kind of quote unquote backfire. Not really backfire, but... We can do it again. At least for a little bit of stuff, so... It's also a thing at the end. I mean, we're not pressed for money, but sometimes on a hand like that, you might buy like a bunch of coppers. Because like I could have drawn... I mean, it would be bad with the souk, of course. But on boards that don't have souk, maybe. So we can up a couple more of our orchards. We can start on the advisors potentially, just for some maybe robustness in the draw. So there we've gotten a little bit more of our action. Excuse me. I'm just playing these to see. Since we haven't found a hunting lodge, I'm going to toss all of these until we find one. I was going to say, at some point, it's probably just better to just toss it and look for souks down here. So we do stop a little bit here, but that's okay. I mean, we you know, we've dudded. This is a dud hand, right? Because we could probably have gotten to 50 or something. There was like a real shot that we get to 6 provinces this turn, but that's okay. We'll just do it next turn. Because we're not behind in points at all, and there's not even actually a feasible 3 pile. So finish our advisors. We'll do the cellars on the very end. Maybe we'll get one more cellar. We can buy a souk. We probably have a 3 pile here. I'm just not... I kind of want to empty the provinces, so... Like we almost certainly had some kind of Dutchy 3 pile. Still have $14. I mean, just buy a bunch of advisors. They're not that good, but you can kind of make them work with the sellers. You can buy a villa, why not? All right, we'll just get our seller too. This hand is, or this opening hand, pretty easy to play. No trashing, but that's fine. See what they give us for the advisors. I was gonna say seller is actually really useful in this context. What did we have set aside here, Hunting Lodge? I think I'll do this. We may end up a little heavy on souks. Or not on Sooks, I mean on... Well, yeah, I guess I do mean Sooks. Okay. We need to get the hand size down a little bit. We could play one of the sellers. This is pretty good. Actually did not mean to do that. But it's too late, I did. I guess we're gonna have 48 anyways. I will say that the silver goat herd opening, I got the like good draw from that. Like I hit 5 with my 5 for my silver hand, so that was fortunate. That's gonna speed you up here a lot actually. And also the AI naming Villa for my first war chest play, that's terrible. Otherwise, like those two things really do accelerate. I wouldn't necessarily expect to get off that fast. To get off the ground that fast. I think, you know, within these range of turns is probably, you can do it somewhat consistently, but I definitely had the better. I'm not saying like after that, like I played it the cleanest, but at the start, there were a couple things that happened that definitely sped me up. AI just is doing nothing. This is really weird. Actually, even for the AI, it's like one rebuild is just not a deck. It's not even like rebuild can be sometimes a little scary to play against, but this is just nothing. We did 8 of the 9 possible. We could have gotten rebuild. We probably should have done rebuild at the end just for fanciness points, but well, then we would have had a 3 pile though, because we wouldn't have had enough money for that and provinces. Anyway, this is a fun deck with the Sooks, and everything is kind of funneling you into doing this kind of deck, and it's really all gels together quite well. The advisors are like not necessary or do that much, but even they are friendly enough. Like normally kind of labs, I shouldn't say normally, but you kind of think advisor increasing your hand size would mess with the Sooks, but there's just so much here to control hand size that it wasn't, you know, having the advisors was not bad. It was probably helpful for consistency. On the couple turns where we had any. So very nice, very big engine, lots of points from Orchard. I guess I should say I do think I could have finished the provinces a turn earlier. I do think I maybe made some poor choices during that turn, because I think I could have easily hit 48 on my turn 13. So anyway, neat board. Thanks for watching. Catch you all tomorrow.